Hey everybody, and welcome back for another episode of Bill Murray and the Lonely Hearts Club Band. This is Rockley Smile. I'm here with AlpacaPatrol and Last Grey Wolf. No Bear Taffy, unfortunately, but we got close, and that's what counts.
Almost
very
had
close.
Bear Taffy. Then he left, but he was almost here.
He went to go suck some balls or something, is what he said. So
Yeah,
I'll just take him at his word.
He did say that. That's like those were his exact
We're not
words.
paraphrasing or misquoting him or misrepresenting him, for that matter. Is what he said.
That's directly the words that he said. So it's fine.
So what's going on, guys? How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah. Just for once, I wish somebody would say I'm doing fucking terrible, and here's why. Because it makes for a much more interesting conversation. Nobody ever does that, though.
Sad. Yeah, well, because it's always sad
Oh.
you say that.
I've lost the game of Dota. I had one land, drew again, 0 lands. Classic.
It's better to draw again than mull again.
It's
It's kind of the same thing,
The
though.
same thing.
Mull again.
Yeah, but they grow inside.
Mm-hmm.
Do they?
Mulligan.
Yep.
Okay,
Isaac,
gotcha.
man, come
I
on.
knew it was somewhere, but I wasn't.
Get
the
on
location
my
wasn't there.
level.
I was on the continent, but not the country. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
Okay, I didn't either. I was hoping that you would know what I meant. So
I'll be the Bering Peninsula, and you can be Pangaea, and I'll cross the Alaskan Sea.
Pangaea's kind of overpowered, though. Kind of a ridiculous start on CK2, if you ask me.
Not
Just
as
gonna
good as Sniper, though.
I'm
Who's
gonna
got the
bear
shrapnel?
Your Pangea.
You're gonna what?
I'm gonna bear your Pangea.
What is that? What does that mean?
I'm gonna bear it.
You gonna bear it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's I mixed the straight and the Pangea. So
Oh.
yeah, that's what happened there.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
I don't gotcha.
Do you guys think
That's
peninsula is a real weird word?
It's a bit weird.
Peninsula? Yeah, it's kind of funky.
Archipelago is a weird word
That's
too.
the
Why
weird
are
one.
there
Yeah,
so
I
many
guess
strange
geography
words?
terms are always really weird.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah, they're old, very old words
They are
generally.
Even had a chance. They're not common enough for us to make shortened versions of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Like-
usually there's like root words involved with things, but things like archipelago and peninsula, they feel like they don't break down to anything else, which is just kind of foreign to me.
If you have more than one peninsula, would they be peninsulae?
Peninsulae?
It could be peninsulae.
Peninsula.
They'd just be
I
like
think
parallel.
it's peninsulae,
It might just be peninsula. I think actually. Look at those.
like
peninsula.
sheep.
I guarantee you the people in the comments know this right now.
Well,
This is
there's a
exactly
question.
what
If-
they'd know.
If there are two peninsulae next to one another, are they two separate peninsulae or are they one single peninsula?
It might just be peninsulas.
It could be just peninsula.
What
I
if
think it
it's-
might just be peninsulas. Now that I say it out loud, it sounds right.
No, but think about what that implies then. So there's two peninsulas separated by what could be an ocean or a river. Is that its own landmass at that point? Is that a new type of description?
Could be.
Are they like about to touch tips, or what's going on there?
Oh, they're kind of docked a little bit.
Yeah, they're
about
docking.
to. They're in the process of perhaps.
There's a docking situation happening.
Yeah.
Archipelago is the one with the little spattering of islands, right?
Yeah, it's a bunch of
Little-
islands. Yeah. It's what it is.
Would be a good shortened version of archipelago, like archipelago.
Like if you were
Yep.
to abbreviate it in a tweet or something.
Yeah.
AARPHI. No, that doesn't make any
RP.
damn sense.
AARP.
AARP. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That's good. I like that one.
That's all you need to do.
All you need is love.
You really do only need that. There's nothing else that you need.
Love and food and warmth and shelter.
Yeah, well, I mean, those are all kind of secondary to the love thing. You only need the love.
I feel like if you died because of lack of hunger, the love really
No,
would help you.
love sustains you. It gives
Does
you,
it?
sustenance and life and all that good stuff. So it's fine.
Okay, I'm following you. I'm following what you're putting down.
Yeah, I'm putting down what you're following.
I'm digging it.
Yep.
If you leave a trail of breadcrumbs, wouldn't the birds eat it?
Hmm.
Ooh.
Good question.
Good question.
Good question, Nick.
Good question, Nick. That's a good question.
Wow. I like it.
You
I
leave
like
it
that question.
in
Nick.
a forest full of animals teeming with life that all want sustenance,
Right.
and you expect that they're going to leave that bread alone?
Mhm.
That's a great question, Nick.
That's an excellent
I think
question.
I found a
Nick.
bit of a hole in this grim fairy tale thing.
That's a good point.
Also, why did that witch want to bake children? She's living in a house full of candy, right? Why can't she just eat the candy? It's protein?
Living in a house full of candy sounds like an '80s rock opera song.
Does it?
little bit, yeah. I'm living in a house filled with candy.
See, I would think that's more of like a 60s beach song or something.
Okay.
I don't think it's either of those things, in fact.
No?
Both of those things.
I think you're kind of
Neither
reaching for
those
stuff just to be
things.
entertaining for the sake
That's
of
a
this.
good question, Nick.
That's an excellent question.
All right, I don't play enough Dota to get where this is from, so can you explain?
Wait, the excellent questions? Yeah, there's no.
That's a great question, though, Nick. I really appreciate
you
it.
That
just
is a really
make that
good
up just
question.
now?
How did you have like 900 creatures?
Got a lot
What
of
just
things here.
happened?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I have.
What the fuck just... I'm sitting here putting down one little green. You got like 50 of them over there. That's a great question, Nick.
That is an excellent question. I gotta tell
I hope
you.
when this is over that the game doesn't crash again, because I didn't even tell everybody last time that that's why there was this really weird edit. Like, the game just crashes
I
now,
almost died.
sometimes, when we finish a game.
Rob, turn off combat.
Sorry, no, I like it with the combat on. They get to see all the bleeds.
I'm fucking dead, dude.
What a weird thing that was.
Oh my god, this is gonna be a short fucking episode.
Nah.
Could be.
Man.
So what do you guys think about abstract art?
That's a great question, Nick.
That's a really,
Alright.
really
Done.
excellent question, Nick.
I don't know, I think there's a fine line between abstract art and bullshitting.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's very easy to bullshit and call it abstract art.
Why?
No, I mean, I wasn't kidding. Like, actually, why do you come to that conclusion?
Oh.
Well, just the very definition of abstract art means its interpretation is very fluid, you know? Like,
No, but, like, you make the connection that it's either real or it's bullshitting. Why can't it exist in a realm of subjectivity?
I think it, I don't... Sorry, there's a Skype noise and it totally...
Yeah, it was
Okay.
Bear. Bear left a call.
Okay.
Oh, that's what that was. I thought Rob left the
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, I thought Rob DC, and I was like, oh god, did Rob DC? Should I
Yeah,
say
I'm
I don't
fine.
understand what's
I'm
happening
here.
right now.
It's
And I
no-
panicked, and I didn't know. I totally forgot what I was talking about.
You're gonna tell me why it has to be either bullshit or actual.
Oh.
Shit, yeah.
Yeah, well... It's just, I've seen... I guess it's more from experience that I've seen people be like, oh, here's this piece of art, and it's abstract, and it's just like, I feel like that's just lazy.
Okay, so here's the theoretical. What if the person that's making the abstract art has already proved themselves to be masterful at making representational work?
Then I would be more... Yeah, I would be down with that.
Okay.
I'd be down with the clown, personally.
With the clown or down to...
Yeah, I'd be down
Those are
with...
two different things.
No, I'd be down with the clown, yeah.
The clown.
Yeah.
I did a video today on this, it's like an animated version of a Kandinsky piece, which is, he's a Russian painter he was born in like 1860, lived until like 1940. Spent a lot of time at first working on, becoming masterful and showing representational artwork, and then eventually got into the realm of creating, arcs and lines and color and movement and all of that stuff. And I thought it was really interesting because the developer that made this game of it basically animated a whole bunch of little bits and pieces on that piece to try and, well, in my interpretation anyway, make it a little bit more accessible for people to look at non-representational abstract work and try to breathe a little bit more life into it, make it a little bit more relatable. So I've been having an interesting time, like, hearing all these opinions of different people of what they think about abstract artwork today. I think it's really just, it's a matter of not being able to relate and then not having the vernacular to be able to really describe what they're looking at or care. Because, like, it's just as easy to just walk away from it instead of try to figure it out. Plus, you gotta look into yourself to understand what you're even seeing anyway, which a lot of people aren't really open to doing, which is okay, too.
Sometimes you just gotta believe in your dreams, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the switch up.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I lost.
I'm not really sure I get why you're doing that.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
It's a good point.
It's a good question, Nick.
Yeah, it's an excellent question, Nick.
No.
Oh, it wasn't? Oh, are plays being made?
Yeah.
Depends.
you have-
It should against first strike. Okay, so it was actually a legit trap. Wait, you put one of them on the dude that I'm not blocking?
Well, yeah, because he doesn't gain anything with the first strike. Because he only gets the +1. So.
Oh, okay, this is
and
fine.
it won't- Yeah.
This doesn't actually bother me that much then.
I was kind of hoping I would kill your scavenger drake, and that didn't really work out.
The old rigor mortis play.
I think Austin's gonna win somehow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Austin's gonna win.
I'm
well,
very
like,
surprised.
I would have. Well, see, here's the thing, because I was hoping to kill the scavenger drake, because Nick killed the one creature that I had. Like, if I had that one extra creature, I would have killed Austin this turn. But now I didn't have the ability to kill Austin, so my hope was Nick was going to kill the scavenger drake. Like I was going to be able to use that on the scavenger drake, because I could have used the first strike on Austin and ensured probably the kill on him, but I don't know.
All right,
It's
I'm
not
feeling
looking-
okay this turn.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I think I made a misplay too.
I think you did too.
Plays were missed.
Yeah, yep, I made a misplay. That's okay. I could have killed the scavenger drake anyway. Oh well.
I don't know. There's a pretty big difference. Even how?
Oh, you
could
could have equipped your axe.
Well, no, not even the axe, the Inferno Fist. So
For-
he would have taken him. The
Oh, you
other
would've
guy would have
just
taken him
made
down to
it.
3. Yeah, I would have just got him down to.
I guess the question is, why didn't you equip your Inferno axe?
Well, I was thinking about doing that too, but I didn't have enough mana to play all 3 of those power ups, so I just played the 1. So
I
don't
gotcha. I get what you're putting down.
I think
was
Austin will
very
win by next turn.
complex. yeah, there he goes.
Austin
GG,
wins.
friends. Goodbye.
You guys are putting too much into the posy, you know?
What's a poozy?
Is that a vagina?
I don't know actually.
All right.
It sounds like a vagina to me.
Yeah, that sounds like a vagina.
The poozy. You gotta like poo, a little bit.
A little bit. You gotta peruse the wares, you know?
Yeah, you gotta peruse it.
Peruse the poos.
Peruse the poos.
Hmm.
Do you have it?
Guts?
Yeah. Do you have it?
Depends.
Sometimes.
Am I hooked up to a little like Velcro bungee cord and I get to like slam dunk basketballs all day? Because if so, yeah, sign me up.
Really fun. I'd want to do that. I want to crag. I want to climb the ag.
I want to crack.
I want to crag.
Let's get some crag going, boys.
Let's go fucking crag.
Why does that sound like a euphemism for like smoking crack?
Good. I can
You
see
guys
it.
down to crag? I'm fucking.
Let's go behind that dumpster and crag.
Let's go crag, boys.
Go in the alley behind the school and then go get our crag on, you know?
The Kragons are actually a Doctor Who enemy.
Are
Yeah,
they?
I can see it.
I mean, I could see it, but are they? Because I actually don't know.
No, I think he's picking that up.
Oh, I love that you had to say I think. You're not entirely sure, because the library of Doctor Who enemies is far too large for that.
They're very large.
Do you have it, Guts?
Now, Nick, he doesn't
Yeah.
have a flying creature to block your scavenger drake right now.
What exactly do you want me to do about that?
Well, you get attacked with the scavenger drake.
But,
I don't
but then
see-
he dies next turn.
I
He
don't
doesn't
see why
die
I would do
next
that.
turn. Oh yeah, he would die next turn, wouldn't he?
Die next turn. He cannot attack me with his Drake this turn.
Yeah, you're correct. Oh well, no, now he can.
Do you?
And he can attack you with all and maybe kill you.
And die next turn.
Yeah.
No, I mean if he doesn't block you, then he dies. If he does block you, then you're still safe next turn.
Or he kill you.
You can do that too. I won't
I mean,
argue.
you could try to do that, yeah.
Do you have it?
Two- Oh, we're gonna do that thing, aren't we, where I run out of time? I'm sick of that.
Yeah.
6,
9,
7, 8.
I mean, I'm clearly not the most dangerous one here, though, comparatively to Austin.
You do 11.
What are you
damage,
guys
so-
gonna really do to me though, right now?
Nick can I mean, Austin can fuck you up pretty hard.
You know,
Like, just
Rob's
by
gonna say
attacking me.
me either way. I'm gonna say Rob
Well, no,
either
he
way.
can he can deal 3 damage to you just as chip damage, and then you die the turn after that.
Oh.
So, like if when he attacks me, then he'll do 3 damage, and you have 2 turns to live.
Do you have it?
Guts. Dude, a piece of the aggro crag is probably one of the greatest prizes you could ever have as a teenager.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude,
yeah.
I would have loved to have an aggro crag.
Oh, I'd aggro the crag all day and all night.
The only real problem is, and I don't think anybody really considers this when they're winning this prize, what are you going to really do with it when you put it in your house? Like, you need
You're
a
probably
pedestal.
gonna aggro some crags, I would think.
You need a proper pedestal and like a trophy room to put that in.
You're putting the aggro crag on a pedestal, Nick.
Do you really intend that you're going to put it on your dresser?
Well, no, that was a reference to 40-year-old virgin, actually.
Oh, okay. Imagine trying to sleep with that thing in your room just radiating green light. How are you supposed to sleep like that? You need your sleep so you can do your homework the next day and to, like, you know, eat your Wheaties when you wake up.
Hey, Wheaties your eat.
You just said those words in a different order.
I did, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. We lost.
I'm so good at this game, dude.
Heard stories of losing.
Oh,
A
I'm
little
dead.
bit like I got robbed from that.
That was a second place play. All right, oops. That was definitely a second place play. I thought I could.
You have
survive.
12 life, and he does 12 damage.
Yeah, I was more excited about killing you than staying alive, and I forgot that was the thing that needed to
Yeah,
happen.
that was a second place play. Is
It's
what
a
you
very
just did.
strange move you just did there.
Yeah, I thought I could live.
I really wish we could have seen what would have happened had you not done that.
Who knows? I didn't. I wasn't trying for second place there. I just totally forgot that Rob had 4-4-4. I thought he had like a 4-4-2 or something.
That was a weird game of Magic.
Yeah.
Hey, but on the
Yeah,
plus
what-
side, the game didn't crash at the end. I like that.
Yeah,
true.
that's good. Yeah, now we get to flame Nintendo for another hour.
Has anything new happened on the front of Flaming Nintendo?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think we're out of
They've been pretty
Nintendo
quiet
games.
last week.
Yeah,
No
we haven't been
shit.
able to.
Same opportunity.
I
What
know,
about
we're running
like
out of-
Sonic the Hedgehog or like something like that? Anything?
I mean, honestly, flaming Sonic is like really low hanging fruit at this point. I mean, you know, it's already. It doesn't need to be said anymore. It's already.
You say that now.
Go.
You say that now, but the Sonic cycle always lives on. It's like the circle of life.
You know what? It doesn't live on for me though. That's the thing. I was never that into Sonic.
Doesn't matter.
And I don't get excited about Sonic games at all.
I haven't been excited about a Sonic game since Adventure 2. They're just like, I never had a lot of hype. I mean, I love Adventure 2. I played the shit out of it. But like after that, Sonic 06, I didn't have an Xbox in time to really get excited about it, and I'm glad that was the case because holy shit, that game is terrible. But yes, I just never got any Sonic games after that.
But imagine
Like-
going as fast as you could go on the Sega Genesis with all the blast processing and all the things they had back then, but only that in 3D. See,
Right.
that's a
Well,
realm
they've
that
done it
we've
right a couple of times. I've
we've-
heard Generations was good. Colors or whatever the hell the one. What is it?
What's the one where you get to be a
Colors?
Templar and you like have a sword?
Oh, that's Assassin's Sonic Creed.
Is there one where
And
you
you're like
have
assaulting a messianic temple, I think, and fighting
There's
knights.
one where Shadow has two guns.
Oh,
It's like-
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Two?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dual-
Apparently,
yeah,
that game isn't the worst thing, but it's really not good.
Wait,
But
when did
apparently
Shadow
it
get two
wasn't
guns?
as bad as it. Like it was kind of in that position where it was just weird, but apparently it's not terrible.
I would not go back and play that game.
No, I wouldn't either. I'm not saying it's good at all. I'm saying that it was kind of lumped into the same category as Sonic 06 when it is not even remotely as bad as that game. Sonic 06 is real bad. What the what?
Kitty.
He
What did I
disagrees. He thinks Sonic 06 is pretty good.
You know, an interesting thing about Sonic for me is the fact that going fast was never really as big of a deal as they made it sound back in the day. 'Cause
Not at all, yeah.
when you play a Sonic game, there's a lot of parts, and I'm thinking of like Marble Zone in Sonic 1. Like, you're literally just waiting for blocks to move. And you can't do anything. You just have to slowly walk through the stage. And there's like a lot of levels like that where it's really just kind of deliberate, slow-paced platforming mixed in with a few sequences where you can kind of run and jump fast. But the
Here's a
camera never
question.
lets you see.
When did they adopt the gotta go fast mantra? Was that, I think that might have been Sonic Adventure 1 is when
It was
when they
post all the
introduced
good
that.
games, I believe. We decided after the fact that Sonic going fast was really important.
He has to. Yeah,
He-
there's
he
no
has to go fast.
he has to go fast.
So if they could
That
just
would
remove
be-
the going fast and think about the core gameplay again, maybe we could get back to what made Sonic actually fun.
No, Nick. I have a way better idea than getting Sonic back to its roots.
Running away from a whale.
Crossover with the 1995 epic Speed. Sonic has to go fast, otherwise his heart
He
will
can't go
explode.
below 40 miles per hour.
All right, I didn't actually think I would say this, but you just made Sonic going fast sound more fun than Sonic not going fast.
Absolutely, he has to go fast. Otherwise, Tom
He'll
Cruise
explode.
is gonna die too. Or
No,
Keanu
Sonic
Reeves.
himself
Keanu
he'll have a necklace around his neck, and if he stops
Uh-huh.
going fast, his head'll pop off.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I kind of love that idea, to be honest.
I would play that game real hard.
Robotnik captured him and has forced him into a life of running fast. And he'll drop chili dogs on balloons so he can grab them and keep getting momentum to keep going fast. And he'll just get little like fart powers.
You know what would actually be really fun? if
That
they
idea
made it?
you just made.
Well, yeah, that
I think
idea.
you already said that, yeah.
But for a more legitimate idea, maybe
No.
maybe I'm the only one among the
That
three
was
of us
legit.
here. But maybe I'm the only one among the three of us here. But I really like Infinite Runner games, and I feel like Sonic is kind of perfect for an Infinite Runner game.
I don't
So, I don't
like
know.
Infinite Runner games.
I do like them, but I don't like when you make Super Meat Boy about them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be really fun.
But why not just make a new Super Meat Boy? I guess if we're gonna
He's
transition to
always
Super
said-
Meat Boy
Here it
here, I'm
comes.
gonna
Let's
be,
do it.
I'm gonna
He's
be
always
angry.
said he's not into sequels. Forget Rebirth happened, but
Who
he's
said
not into
that?
sequels.
Edmund?
Macmillan.
But
yeah.
but why? But that is, it's still a sequel. It counts. It's still Meat Boy sequel, right?
Yeah,
just
well,
because you've made it different
it's
doesn't
a
make
new
it not
beginning.
a sequel.
It's
You
another
decided
number
that
one.
that your almost perfect game in terms of relating to the type of game that it is.
Yeah.
That was not a good route, and let's change it to a
Yeah.
different route for literally no reason.
Yeah, maybe.
I would have much rather,
know.
instead of making Super Meat Boy Forever, just make it so the game works. The first one, I mean, just
That's true too.
doesn't
That game
crash anymore.
Still doesn't work. Me and Nick were going to play it on stream, and we couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I've had my
Windows
own
8's
issues
fault,
with
probably.
that. Yeah.
I mean, it runs without
can
OBS.
we really blame that on Windows 8 though?
It's
It's
well,
a bug that existed before Windows 8.
it runs without OBS trying to stream it. It's just too many things that it can't
Does it though?
handle.
Because I've heard that it sometimes even does it without OBS.
Okay, it
doing
sometimes does, but sometimes it works.
Yeah, it also crashes every time you open it.
Every time.
I
Why?
don't
You know what I still haven't been able to play? Ubisoft's Child of Light.
More like
So-
Ubisoft.
We can flame Ubisoft if you guys want.
But that's low hanging fruit, really.
That
It's
really
low hanging
is,
fruit,
yeah.
really.
That's probably the lowest hanging fruit. Like even EA is higher hanging fruit now than Ubisoft.
It's sad to say, but you're probably right. Like that is probably higher hanging.
Wait, where
fruit.
does Nintendo fall into that grouping?
Nintendo, you have to be a connoisseur of fruit hanging.
Yeah.
To
I
grasp.
want to see the orchard with all the fruit hanging at different levels and see where each company's fruit lies.
I mean, Nintendo's pretty far back on the low-hanging fruit tree, I think, because like, even though we flame Nintendo for fucking up, a lot of their fuck ups are about like their desire, like the way that they're moving with their company, as opposed to like EA or Ubisoft being like, hey, here's a $60 game that just doesn't fucking work. Fuck you, go fuck yourself. Like that's Uplay and EA. Whereas Nintendo is like, I'm not comfortable with the way that they're moving their company, and I feel like I can armchair CEO them better. But at least their games work.
I don't even jokingly believe I can armchair CEO their game. If they're not making like a Star Fox, Metroid, and those games, they're doing it wrong. So, do everything that you're doing now too, but also do those.
But try harder and be better. Also,
basically, yeah.
Just get good.
Also, like maybe support the indie community because
No, fuck them. They have
that
terrible
would be
ideas.
They
really
do
good on their
barely.
system.
They
They straight up don't. That's the thing.
They have Big Trip games on it.
Yeah,
They support
yeah,
all of the indie community.
I went to buy stuff on the Wii U store to see what indie games they have. I think there's like 10, and
I think
Bit
they're
Trip Runner
focused
2 is on there.
on the 3DS indie games. I think they have a bunch on that as opposed
Do
to.
they?
I
Because I
wouldn't
feel
know.
like
I can't stand
PSP
their
and
marketplaces.
PlayStation Network is more.
You can't say what, Nick?
Their marketplaces in general, I just don't like to buy things digitally from them because they'll just delete them and then I can never get them back, and also their awful interfaces.
Yeah.
I will say that I was very displeased when I bought Super Smash Bros. And didn't have enough space. to put it on my
Yeah,
Wii. My empty, no memory used Wii.
yeah. I'm still visualizing the orchard though. There's like all these fruits of various shapes and sizes, and then it's like there's a timeline, like a ticker running at the bottom of the orchard, and it's showing like, okay, here's a picture of Assassin's Creed Unity, and the guy has no face, you just see eyeballs and hair suspended, and then that lifts up and goes into the fruit for Ubisoft, and then the fruit gets slightly heavier, and the fruit hangs slightly lower. You see what I mean? It's like a little mobile game.
There's like a branch that like is deformed and like on the ground, and on that branch you have like Peter Moleneux and Phil Fish.
Oh yeah, Peter Moleneux is our topic today. I forgot about that. He's relevant again.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot there was a thing, but I didn't see anything about it. I just know that he was in some sort of a controversy. Could you explain that?
The last game he was working on, Goddess, the one that was the big reveal that when you win the Curiosity Cube, your job is, well, you get to win a job to work for him, and then you get a revenue share with Goddess, or Goddess, I don't know which way it's said, but it doesn't matter. So your big reveal is you win this prize, which is to share money with Peter Moleneux on his next game. That game happened to be Goddess, and they announced that they are going to kind of move away from supporting the game, even though it's not feature complete based on the Kickstarter that they did. So they're actually abandoning it in favor of another game full of ambitious promises, most likely, that I don't know anything about. But it's just another in the lineage and the succession of Peter Moleneux making promises and then abandoning things.
So Milo 2 is what he's making.
I have no idea. I don't think it's that, but
they're they're continuing development on Milo, by the way.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Why?
No, I don't think Peter Moleneux is a part of it, but they're continuing it.
Well, probably as like an OS for TVs or something, right? So you can like interact with a little sim in your TV.
Yeah, but I already don't like talking to children. Like,
Me
why would I want my OS to be a child?
Dude, doesn't it creep you out that like every TV is gonna have a listening device and voice recognition software and then be connected to the internet? I find that really creepy.
There was a whole controversy too, where like some high up Samsung guy was like, don't speak around voice activated televisions. It's
That's
like,
awful.
oh, all right, that's terrifying.
I have a Samsung TV, but it's too old to have any kind of internet connection to it.
Dude, I'm never getting a fucking voice activated.
I don't want that.
I don't know if mine's voice. I have a Sony one.
Oh, it probably is. It's probably just got a mic like hidden inside of it that you can never see.
Yeah, but I don't say words in my bedroom, so it must be really boring to be listening to that feed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have a Samsung TV as well, actually, that I'm using right now to stream this, to play this game. So
I really like Samsung. It's really unfortunate that they might be shitbags, maybe. I don't know. I need to read more about it before I say that.
I think there was like the controversy was like it was a double bluff. Like apparently the CEO didn't say that, but then also did. It was very confusing. There was like this whole stream of things that happened on the technology subreddit, and I didn't feel like following it.
Well, I mean, we're all up in arms about the Kinect doing that, and then Sony has one that does it as well.
Yeah.
Or, can take voice recognition activation. I was never really a fan of that idea. I'm really happy they've disabled and abandoned the Kinect entirely. I only wish they had done it 4 years earlier.
Yeah,
I really wish they never would have even bothered with that.
I still remember how hilarious it was when Xbox unveiled their E3 stuff about the Xbox One.
Unveiled.
No more veal.
A young lamb.
No more veal for you.
No more veal for the Xbox
calf.
One.
It's a calf.
But no, when they unveiled the Xbox One stuff, and then everyone was just like, holy shit, this is the most awful thing the world's ever known. And then Sony had their conference, and every Sony presenter was like the smuggest motherfuckers on the stage, and they had all this like cool shit that wasn't awful. And then Xbox like a week later were like, yeah, it turns out we looked at some specs, and it looks like we're actually going to double back on not doing any of the things that we mentioned at E3.
That we said were impossible to change, also.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Remember the video with Major Nelson and Angry Joe? And he was being Angry Joe was being such a dick to him, and Major Nelson did not appreciate it at all.
He was very angry. I feel like those two do not like each other anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. It's awkward.
Yeah.
Speaking of, game stuff, look at this segue right here. We're roughly a little over 2.5 weeks away from PAX.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it is very, very quickly approaching.
I really hope that Boston does not get any more snowstorms because they've got like 7 feet of snow, and I don't think they can handle much more at this point.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys think they're going to announce anything there?
Announce something? I don't know. I haven't seen any
Magic
kind of
2016.
Yeah.
Well, probably actually. Like they probably will have the.
I was thinking about that. It's crazy to me that just last year we were there seeing the Magic 2015 booth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then a year went by, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
then,
crazy that it has been a year since then.
Yeah, but yeah, they might have 2016. It is a month earlier this year, so they could totally not have 2016.
Oh, is it a month earlier?
How do you feel about that, actually? It feels like it's kind of awkwardly positioned in terms of timing.
Yeah, I don't know why they did it a month earlier. Like, it was such a nice
Right.
time, too. It was like 50, 60 degrees at night and 70 in the day, and it was very nice.
Was it that
Now
warm?
it's gonna be...
I remember freezing my ass off running around at night with you guys.
No,
Yeah.
it was cool at night, but it was definitely not cold. Because I know, because I'm
Maybe
from
I'm thinking of
fucking
PAX
Texas.
2013.
If it was cold, I would have known.
Yeah, you would have exploded like.
I would have actually frozen to death.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I'm hoping it's. I mean, I kind of want it to have like a little bit of snow because I never get to see snow ever. So
Right.
I wouldn't mind like a nice dusting.
I can tell you something, Austin. They have 7 feet-ish now. There will be some snow there when we get there. It's going to take more than a month
absolutely.
for that amount of snow to melt.
Last time it snowed in New York, it was like a month ago, and there's still snow on the ground. So.
See, I don't know how
What?
snow works, so
It was
that's
not a
news to
month
me.
ago. We just had storms over the weekend, man.
Well, we didn't have. Well, maybe I don't know if you had storms, but like there was like a very light snow. Like none of the snow that snowed over the weekend lasted in the city
Just-
at least.
All I'm saying is think about the last 1 week that we existed. There was absolutely at least some snow.
Yeah, oh yeah, there was some snow, but it's yeah, I don't know.
You just said a month ago is
Well, a month ago was when like the big snowy snow time.
The snowmageddon that wasn't
Yeah,
actually a snowmageddon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that all
So
went to
that one.
Boston is the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Boston got
What
fucked,
an
dude.
interesting podcast we're doing, talking about how much it snowed in Boston.
What is this? The UK podcast?
Yeah.
Hey, I
Yeah,
don't get
making
it.
fun of the weather. It's a British thing. They make fun of it. They complain about the weather all the time.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
supposed to be cold here today and tomorrow.
Is it?
Yeah, the weather's really interesting here actually though, because literally around this time, like January, February, March, it'll just go from like 3 days in the 30s to 3 days in the 80s as highs, back and forth, like just back and fucking forth. Cold front, you're in the 30s. All right, a couple days later, you're in the 80s now. It's just like I don't know what to wear. Unless I check the weather, I can go out in a jacket and then forget that it's the warm section of the week, and I'll be really hot. It's absurd how strange it is.
At least you can take the jacket off.
Well, yeah, that's the worst part is when you forget your jacket because you thought it was the hot section of the.
That would be awful if when you put on a jacket, it's locked on you until you get home.
That would be pretty fucking awful.
Hate
Because
that.
yeah,
You'd go inside a building, you'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't, I'm so hot, I'm just going to sweat all over you because I can't take my jacket off because of the arbitrary reason that I've decided that it's
Yeah.
locked on you.
the new rule. Yeah, but no, I last year at PAX I didn't wait in any lines because there was just no games worth waiting in line for.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait in line for Bloodborne. It's
Really?
gonna happen. Yeah, if there's any game that I'm gonna wait in line for, it's gonna be that. Unless for some magical reason Nintendo just
don't.
randomly has the new Zelda, which is
They're
never
not.
gonna happen.
Just don't
Or
wait
they-
in line for, it's just coming out in like a month.
I know, but I need it. I need to know. I need to know.
I can tell you
but-
from experience, it plays exactly like Dark Souls.
Good. I want to play that.
Done. What do you need to know, though? It feels exactly the same.
That's what I want. That's the good. That's why I need to confirm that.
I need
myself.
to know.
I need to know. Can you show me? What
Why
is
didn't
that
we talk
from?
about Peter Moleneux at all? We just kind of just went right past that.
It's low hanging fruit.
Anybody give a shit?
That's a good question, Nick.
Twitter's
No.
been interesting about that because they've been almost like they almost doubled back for a while. It was for a day, it was like let's bash him, and the next day it's like yeah, but actually he's a human being, so we should probably like back off a little bit.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Twitter doesn't do that too often, but every now and then when there's like a clusterfuck of a
It's-
gang against somebody,
The Reddit cycle sometimes pulls over into Twitter. The let's hate something. Oh wait, let's not hate something, but now we hate it again cycle. It's always good.
I can't decide where I fall on that. I mean, I agree that like nobody should just be dragged through the mud unnecessarily, but At the same time, it really feels like he's a bit of a snake oil salesman. He keeps going so far out of his way to promise X and Y and then just stops. I mean, as far as the Kickstarter thing,
times where, I mean, you just got like I'll give you like 2 of those, and
yeah,
he's done like 4. So
ever since the first Fable, it started.
Yeah, he should. I don't think he deserves any second chances anymore.
Who, Peter Moleneux?
Yes.
Yeah, the person we're talking about right now. Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading comments on the Magic video. There's a couple interesting ones. Like this is a good one. Really, even after your computer breaks, you keep the same description for every single Magic video. that's I find that funny, but maybe other people don't. So. But
you should describe your videos.
I could change the description.
It's conveniently funny, is I think the thing. You can get away with it for a while, and then they're like, you know what? Now it's just you're just enjoying that. You don't have to change the description.
I mean, that's nice. Yeah, I won't lie to you. And then this is another interesting one. Apparently, Time Warner or Comcast don't have a 97% profit margin, according to Eltraz Carigna. Right. And I've just been Googling it, and it seems like that's like a contested idea. Half of websites are saying that they do, while other websites are saying that they don't.
If you include their infrastructure spending, then it probably changes it all.
Yeah, maybe.
We were just looking at it like, okay, if the infrastructure is established, what are they making now? Without investing more
they don't spend money on infrastructure. That's already known.
We also don't actually know anything about business really, and we're just taking secondhand information.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's
what I said too.
That they don't
video.
They don't spend money on infrastructure. Like that's been in the news multiple times. Like they don't upgrade their lines. They don't. They might maintain their lines, and I'm sure they do that. But it's in terms of upgrading it that they don't do.
What about like the billions of DVRs and like modems and routers that they give out that are all from like 1998?
Yeah. There you go. You answered your own question. That's not even like a joke. That's actually it's the truth. That's the truth. They are from actually.
They're not actually from 98.
Okay, well they're still so
outdated. I have one. It's not from 98.
I don't know. Mine. I'm looking at it now. It just. I swear, it just looks old. I don't even know how to describe it.
The problem is they're just cheap. They use the cheapest products involved in them as possible, and they also make them so you can't change or replace or take ownership of anything that they do. Like with the DVRs, you'd think if you're dealing with a reasonable company, they'd understand. They put a really low, ridiculous hard drive in terms of how much you can store in it. Why not let you change the hard drive out? Because what would that really hurt anybody? They're all copy protected because they think you're just going to use it to steal TV shows or whatever the hell.
And it's weird because you can give me your modem. I understand that, but now, or at least back in my old house, they tried to take over my router, and they wanted to make me.
They put the modem and the router together, and then they also charge you for having them.
Yeah, and the router that's in there is so god awful that it was almost a joke. Like I tested the speeds on each router that I had. And it was like a 20 megabit difference. It was hilariously bad.
Just use it as a bridge and get another router at that point.
Well, no, that's the thing. I was testing my router and the router that they connected, and the issue was there's no switch or button on their router. You can't turn it off. I had to call them and ask them how to do it. They said, "Oh, you can't. It doesn't turn off." And it was literally interfering with my other router. Like it would not handle 2 signals at once. Apparently, you can't do that. So I literally had a router that I could not turn off because it was also the modem, and it was interfering with my better router. I ended up going to the store and demanding a router without a modem, and the lady was like, we don't have any of those anymore. I'm like, give me one of those. She went in the back and said, oh, well, you're actually really lucky. This is the last one we have. Like,
they did the same shit with DVRs with me.
That's because...
They said they don't have the one with the bigger capacity and then had one. That's such bullshit.
It's...
They just lie to you until you get real angry about it.
Yeah, it was just like, give me one. And then when I got it, it worked fine. My new router, or my old router, worked fine. And it was like, great. Why were you trying to force this onto me? I don't understand.
And before the IT dudes in the comments get all riled up, I'm sure there's a way you can disable it via software, just you shouldn't have to.
I'm not technologically know enough to do that.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure you could do it, but you shouldn't expect everyone to be able to do it, and that's reasonable to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So,
the
whether or
whole
not the circle
situation
jerk was
is fucked.
justified about their earnings, there's plenty of other things that are pretty much legitimate no matter what we say about the earnings part.
Yeah, yeah. The thing I'm reading about it too, and people are contesting it in comments and stuff of the articles in question,
Yeah.
and it's the guy in the comments cited that it's around 4 to 9%, which is sort of true, but also sort of not true. Like that also is
What is that
like
number?
looking at it, like their profit margin based on their ROI. So like while that number is also taken at face value compared to the like both 97 and the 9% is taken at face value. I think the truth is that we don't really entirely know how much they're spending on like employee salaries and infrastructure and all that stuff. So I don't know. Basically, it's up in the air. I have no idea.
All right, so I guess if there's any validation to be said here, it's to the person who said that we're wrong. You're probably right.
Yeah, maybe. Well, you might be right, but there were other people that I saw with like totally conflicting things saying that it's not.
Well, I mean, you could just like take all the reports out of it and just realize that what they're giving you does not cost $90 a month.
Right.
Even remotely.
And like, saying that cell phone data is somehow special data that deserves to be paid 20 times over for, that's also bullshit, and everyone knows it.
Oh, here's another thing that's funny. You know about text messages. Have I told you guys this before?
Yeah, I've heard it. Yeah, they literally actually doesn't cost anything. It goes with the data already set.
Actually nothing. In case people, in case I haven't said this on a Magic episode, essentially your phone pings back to the tower every couple of seconds to let it know where it is and whatnot. And when you send a text message, what essentially happens is it sends text with that ping. So it doesn't actually cost them anything, but they still charge people separate costs for their text messaging data.
I think most plans, at least most of the newer plans, don't charge extra for texting anymore.
That's good because it's fucking made up bullshit.
Yeah, but they're still way too expensive. Like I pay $100 a month for unlimited data on my phone. $100 a month. What?
I just upgraded to a $45 plan from my $40 plan because they only AT&T, by the way, this is just like a month ago, decided that it's now acceptable to have unlimited data past a certain point. So they give you a gig, and then after that they throttle you down to 128 KB. But you can have unlimited. Before it was that you get a gig and then you're just cut off unless you buy an extra data bucket. Now they give you more for no extra cost, but it's shitty data. But at least, it's $45. At least it's not $100.
Well, if we get the internet as a utility, then all of this shit will be done with, which would be nice.
Maybe.
But maybe. I don't know. There's still lots of other problems, like the handing out the checks on the House of Representatives floor. Oh, also someone said that the Red Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers didn't go into gay porn. Well, I've seen the videos about that, and he says he didn't. But you can watch the gay porn, and I mean, I'm just saying, it does look like him.
Someone also said that the stabbing was in self-defense too, which is a thing.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Well, I didn't really look into it, but they said that in the comments, so I just want to acknowledge it.
Well, you don't really. We're just like spouting off random bullshit. Like it doesn't. We're not like a news program here. We're just.
I am. You might not be. I am.
We are.
And also, to be honest with you, I feel like we might be fact checking a bit more than major media is, because like the 97%, the 97% profit margin on the Time Warner, that's like a Huffington Post article. So,
Well, it was originally from Reddit that you got it, right?
Yeah, but the Reddit was
from Huffington, so you're just one. See, that's the thing. You can't conflate someone saying, so I got it from Reddit, but where did Reddit get it? We just stop there? Reddit got it somewhere, too.
Yeah. I mean, Reddit is just a news aggregate site. That's all it is. So it's taking from sources. It has sources. Then you have to look at
people don't necessarily have sources. Anyone can post on Reddit.
Yeah, right.
Anyone
But I mean,
can write a
I'm
fucking
saying-
news article too, but
Yeah, right. That's the other thing too. That's something that's weird. That I think people have this weird thing where people need, and maybe this is just how I am,
that
is
they
that I don't
trust
really,
things.
I don't, yeah, like I don't really derive authority from position. I grant authority or respect if it's like earned. And I don't mean that. I don't mean to say that in a condescending way, but I mean to say that like a lot of people will, a doctor will say something and then they'll believe it verbatim, right? Where just because he's a doctor, but I don't necessarily operate that way. And in the same way, I feel that way about various news or whatever, or a politician says something that doesn't necessarily mean it's true, or they had the rights, or whatever, all those other bullshit. But I feel like people need an official source in order to like derive any value from anything. Like I've had grammatical arguments with people, or like semantic arguments with people, where they're like, well, in this dictionary it says blah, 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 blah. They're like, well, what does that fucking matter? What does that have to do with whatever it is we're talking about? If like just because GRRL is in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary doesn't mean that I have to acknowledge it as a fucking word, because it doesn't have fucking vowels, so I don't acknowledge it as a word. Sorry, I just don't. I don't care what the dictionary
You're gonna get
says.
called out now on some word that doesn't have vowels that is a word, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know.
You set yourself up for that one.
Yeah.
GRRL is a fucking bullshit word. It doesn't matter that like some dude, because that's the thing. Like people seem to forget that like the dictionary isn't like an entity handed down from God. It is like there's some dude sitting in an office.
Constitution.
Yeah, like see, there's a couple of dudes sitting in an office, like saying, "Hey, we need to print a new edition of the dictionary so that people buy it, and the only reason that they would ever buy it is if we put in new words. So let's just throw in this fucking word here, GRRL. People use it. Whatever."
Okay.
Yeah.
As far as the whole establishment of authority thing, I feel like to some degree it's sort of a sliding scale with me. Certain things have a little bit of an agreed upon bit of clout. For being in the position that they start at, but then of course that can be added to or lowered as the case may be. So for example, like if I see an article by Polygon and then I also see an article by IGN, I'd probably rather listen to the article by Polygon, and I know this is also going to become a shitfest in the comments for saying, but it's just because of my rapport with them and how I perceive their value to me. And of course, that could change vice versa depending on how certain actions happen. Maybe I should have used giant bomb is slightly less contentious.
I stopped looking at Polygon personally. I'm just tired.
I wasn't trying to get into that. I was just saying as an example, it could have been whatever X site that has clout.
Yeah, I guess I was using hyperbole a bit. Yes, I'm also on that scale as well. Like I will. Even a doctor that I don't respect, I respect the fact that he obviously has more medical knowledge than me because, 6 years of medical schooling, he's just gonna. He could be the worst doctor in the world. He'll know more about medicine than I do. But then, like, so there is a level to it, but I don't initially trust things as the word of God from an authority figure. Just because.
But it's also a little bit different if we're talking about doctors versus people that are in the game industry, right? Because we actually have probably above average understanding of what's going on in the game industry compared to most that are reading those articles. So we might have a slightly more nuanced view of what's happening.
Well, you say that, but I really think that the modern gamer that at least looks at those articles has a pretty firm grasp of what actually is going on in the games industry for the most part. Like, I don't think people who read Polygon or IGN. Well, maybe IGN, but
I had it backwards. I meant compared to the people writing the articles. I think that we're close to on the same page as them most of the time.
Oh, us personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, to an extent, yeah. But that's what I mean. I think the modern consumer of video games, if they're learned in any way or they read those articles, are also pretty knowledgeable in a lot of similar ways that we are. Even though we're sitting around on the back end of a lot of things as well. So, I don't know.
But it's not like a doctor. It's not like I'm going to know anything about that field at all.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be comparable if, like, we spent 10 years without medical experience, just nursing people in, like, a free clinic in Africa or something. then I might
Yeah.
maybe have comparable experience with a doctor who went to school for 6 years or whatever.
So what does that make it? So then, like, 2.5 years of playing indie games counts as 1 year of. Never mind.
Journalism school. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know the math on that one.
Yeah.
It's amazing that well, okay, no, I'm gonna start flaming them. Never mind. I'm not gonna go into it. Forget
Stop
it.
right there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna just stop where I am. Yeah, no need.
Even when I
Basically,
disagree with people in these journalistic positions, I still respect them, and it doesn't mean that I want to ever get into actual fights with them over anything. None of that's important.
Fight them at PAX. It's fine.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
you're gonna
it's
It's a
fight
general
anywhere,
way to
fight in
solve
PAX.
issues. Yeah, you
They're
just fight them
so
at PAX.
smug, though, aren't they? Like, I've interacted
PAX?
with some people in editorial. No, like, I've interacted with some people in editorial, and they're like,
There's a
they're so
smugness.
like, there's an
There's a
entitlement, like, oh, I deserve to be here, whereas, and then like they treat other people as like the peasants, and it's
Well, there's a shitty adversarial thing going on between journalists and YouTubers because they feel like we're at odds with each other because YouTubers are way more successful at doing what they're trying to do, which sucks because plenty of journalists have plenty of valid opinions and a lot of them are really worked up about the idea that they put it across in a proper professional way, whereas YouTubers just scream and show butts and all of a sudden they are of all the views.
Hey man, it's hard to show butts, all right?
But I
takes
actually
talent to show
sympathize
butts.
quite a bit with that position because, I've been trying to have articulate discussion on indie impressions for like 3 years now, and I don't get that many views. If I would show more butts, maybe more people would care, and I don't want to be put in the position where I need to, compromise what I'm trying to do to appeal to more people because I want to put forward an intellectual position.
Mhm.
So I feel for that situation. I don't want to be adversaries with journalists. I think we can all work together.
I think there might be a lack of inherent humility on the editorial side of things for a lot of in a lot of cases.
Well, you feel validated, right? Because you got hired to a company that's bigger than you. So
Right,
there's
yeah.
something to put yourself under, a moniker, which YouTubers
That's
don't
that's
have.
what I mean. Yeah, YouTubers started from the bottom. Now we're here. Started from the bottom. Now the whole damn team here.
Right.
So whereas editorial is like I went to school and they of course they worked their way up, but I mean in a different way.
I could just as easily I'm not saying easily, but if it came to it, I could make a bunch of writing samples and go apply for a job at Kotaku. And if they hired
Yeah.
me, I would be on equal footing starting out as someone else in that same position who would then be considered over a YouTuber.
right.
Which is silly to me. And I'm not saying that it doesn't take work to get to that point, but like I could be on either side of that wall.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
why do we need to have any kind of animosity there?
Yeah, it's weird. It's real weird. I don't know what it is about that. Like it's like two communities that are incredibly similar. That's why I actually like Giant Bomb because they really tread the line between like what makes a YouTuber valuable versus what makes editorial valuable because they really walk that line where it's like they do editorial but they're also personalities, right? Because you know the
Now they have
specific
to be.
guys. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, that too. But they started off as like basically YouTubers, pretty much. So yeah, they're a really interesting one. I like Giant Bomb.
I think a lot of it too comes from the fact that now the climate is such that if you're in one of these websites as a journalist, there's pressure being put on you to not fail, and to do that, you need to make a YouTube channel and pander. Right?
Yeah.
So that's like you're basically telling somebody how to do their job to just survive, just to get by, which
Yeah.
is frustrating because like you have a vision of how you want things to go, and the community just says like, nope, you're not allowed.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Well,
But still, if there was more conversation, if more people opened up and expressed their viewpoints to each other instead of just to the world at large and acted angry, I'm sure we could all come to some kind of conclusion and be friends.
Here's something slightly off topic that is a little bit frustrating to me. It's like I feel like I could post this to the mildly infuriating subreddit.
Grind your gears.
Have you guys seen like when they have they just have like their marketing guy or something sit down with like one of the game developers for for a game to show off the game on a live stream or something, and the
Right.
marketing guy just knows nothing about the game, and
Sure.
he's just trying to get them to go into different places, and it's like, just
Yeah.
shut up. I want to hear what he has to say.
You're
since
talking
he
about
made the
E3.
game. Well, yeah, like E3 in general, but like specifically, there was this live stream for Dragon Ball Xenoverse recently, and I've seen this before, where like they just have a guy who's clearly in the marketing department sit down with a game developer, and the game developer is trying to show off things, and the marketing guy is like reading off a list, like, okay, people really want to see the transformation, so
Right.
can we get into the and the developer guy's like, well, yeah, but there's still more combos that we haven't finished that part yet, and it's just like, man, like, I wish that other guy would just shut up and let this guy do what he wanted to do
Right.
in the first place.
Which is
and I've
worse,
seen
though.
that many times.
Which is worse, the marketing guy or the hired personality that's there to be the hype man that also doesn't know anything about the game but is infuriatingly enthusiastic about nothing?
Yeah.
Both of them piss me off.
We're gonna see a lot of that at PAX East for Twitch when people sit down with
Yeah.
game developers, like,
Twitch
oh
kinda
yeah,
has a bad time with that. They hired some people who aren't bad
Yeah.
people or people who are bad at certain things, but they didn't have interest in a lot of the things, and it was pretty obvious.
yeah.
It's just like, I mean, I get what you were trying to do here, but it didn't really.
Yeah, I mean,
work.
like, I love Man vs. Game, and he sat down with Arkham, or what? God, what's the new one? Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight.
Last PAX, and I remember seeing the video, and it was just like, man, I love you, but you're not necessary in this conversation at all right now. Like, the
Right.
developers could have just totally taken it and just shown me things, and I didn't really need you to be the hype man there, but.
There's probably
whatever.
anxiety on both sides, right? That nobody in that situation wants to let the other side down, so they're both trying to do their best to do whatever nebulous thing they think they're supposed to do,
Yeah.
which gets very
Yeah.
confusing and odd.
Yeah, it's just real frustrating sometimes to watch. I see it on these dev live streams all the time, where they just get like, even if they don't get like a YouTube or Twitch personality, they'll just get like just pick some guy out of the marketing department or something to come in, and he knows nothing about all the game mechanics at all. Like the one with the Xenoverse guy, it's like it appears as though when he got into a match with the guy to show off the local co-op, it appears as he had never touched the controller before. That's what
Right.
that's what it seemed like. And it was like, what is your point?
Well,
Why-
you have to
what
be
is-
aware that you're sounding a little bit like a YouTube comment when you say that, because
I
obviously there's
know,
some
yeah.
pressure involved as well.
No, I know. But not. I don't mean that in saying that like he was bad at the game. I mean he was like, oh, what does X do?
Right.
So it's
Base
like,
level knowledge, I
Why
get
did
it.
why did they get him and not another
It's
developer?
a, it's
or
a
something?
strange sliding scale, too. The moving target. You've got charisma is obviously a big thing in delivering a message. You've got
Yeah.
whatever the main message that the company wants to send, which maybe the guy with charisma doesn't necessarily have the ability to communicate that message. And then you've got gameplay ability, all wrapped up in one person, I think is kind of rare to find. And then being articulate on top of being charismatic, all of those things don't always coalesce in one person.
Yeah.
So you get very lucky when you come across a person like Northern Lion who's able to talk about Binding of Isaac in every shade of being articulate, being funny, being easy to listen to. You don't find a lot of people like that.
It is a rare quality. Yeah.
So you can't just
Yeah.
you can't just produce one of those people whenever one of these events shows up. So I guess it's just every shade of them failing at doing that we get to experience.
Yeah, I just mean it in the case of at least specific, because this is the only one that's coming to mind right now, but I've just seen it before. But in the case of that Dragon Ball Xenoverse live stream, it was like the developer that was there was articulate enough. He knew exactly what he wanted to show. Sure. He had some jokes in that were like jokes geared towards fans of the series.
I forgot about the clout element too.
Guy.
You want to hire somebody that has the clout that people listen to blindly without having to worry about who they are or what they say.
Yeah. Well, that's I don't know who the second guy was. Like I've never.
Yeah, but
seen
that's
him.
why you get man versus game, right?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
For the star power.
I completely understand why Twitch does things like I completely understand why they do it with like a personality, because then you get an audience. I mean, it's the same reason that a game company would want some YouTuber to let's play their game, right? It's
Namely
you get an
PewDiePie or
audience
Markiplier.
that right, but you get an audience that you perhaps wouldn't have had otherwise, right? And I understand that with a personality. It's just it while also I would begrudge that in certain scenarios because it leads to some like really awkward cringy situations. In the case of like the Dragon Ball Xenoverse thing where it's just some random marketing guy, like I didn't see his point there, but again, yeah, all the points that you've said are totally true, and I'm also nitpicking and stuff, but it was just a little tiny thing that I've seen multiple times, and it's just like, man,
Yeah.
I just kind of wish it was this way, but I totally understand why they do it the way that they do. But at the same time, it's like,
I think it could certainly be a lot better. I think there could be a lot better planning for most of these events, too. I mean, I was thinking specifically of the Destiny stream that they did at the last E3, where they had this guy that was really enthusiastic about Destiny, but clearly only ever played it a couple of times, and was supposed to show off a thing he's never seen before. Like, how do you do that? You just blindly express enthusiasm toward whatever's in front of you at the moment, which doesn't make for a good, compelling message.
yeah, poor guy.
And it's
Or when
awkward
they
for
get-
everyone.
That's great when they just like, hey, let's get a celebrity that we can afford and
Right.
have him do stuff. Like, have you guys seen the compilation? You know when YouTube did their stupid fucking comedy week
Yes,
thing or whatever?
yes.
Oh,
Did
That
you
was
guys did you guys see Norm Macdonald? They hired Norm Macdonald to be one of the hosts at the panel.
I didn't see that.
And oh my god, it's the funniest thing ever because it's like like 3 YouTube celebrities and Norm Macdonald, and the YouTube celebrities are in like these like hipster / like suit attire gear, and Norm Macdonald shows up in like flip flops with sweatpants and like a hoodie. And, like, he clearly
He's
just
seen some
gives-
shit.
He gives no shits at all. Like he's there to get the money and leave. Like, and he's like they'll just be like, oh, and there's PewDiePie walking by the stage, and he's like, oh yeah, PewDiePie and his thousands of fans, and he was a war hero in Vietnam. It's just like something just random fucking Norm Macdonald shit. It was great. It was so good. It's like perfect because it's just like, yeah, they just fucking hired a celebrity to just sit there, and he just made fun of everyone and made fun of just YouTubing as like a general thing, and it was great. It was
Good.
really
Those
enjoyable.
YouTubers really need to be taken down a few pegs. I agree.
No, but for real though, like the people that they had on the panel were like the most stuck-up, smug fucking motherfuckers who are like so proud of their achievements of being popular on YouTube.
well, that's because when they do YouTube stuff like that, they get like the popular vlogger section people, and those people are just like, they need to stick to the vlogs. Like, jeez, they're not in there. They are not interesting in any way.
Yeah.
Well, to you maybe.
Well, I mean, like, I'm not meaning like their regular content, but when they're like doing hosting things,
Uh-huh.
they just don't work.
Yeah.
But it's not like they really expect them to be entertaining. They're just there because they want the face. Or do
Well,
they expect that? Do they think they're
I
going to
think
be
they-
entertaining?
I mean, they didn't just pick out like the 5 most successful YouTubers. They picked out
Right.
like
Specific
5
ones.
successful YouTubers that also they I think figured would be
Yeah.
good as like a panel.
I feel like companies feel
and-
like
and
it would be
Norm
better to just be safe than to have any opinion whatsoever. Like, they don't want really to express anything. They just want names and buzzwords and catchphrases and hashtags.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the whole YouTube Comedy Week thing, that was just a fucking clusterfuck of r/cringe.
Yeah.
And it was great.
Corporate
That
synergy
was-
in general, the fact that companies believe that if they pay enough money, they can just make something go viral because they've decided it is. They don't even know what being viral even means most of the time, or like photobombing. I was watching The Apprentice, and they clearly had no idea what either of those words meant. And they just kept saying them over and over again because that's what corporations do. They say, oh, look what the kids are doing. We're going to do that and make tons of money.
It's weird because I feel like for commercials in terms of like this kind of relation, like you'd think that funny, interesting commercials would equal, more interest in products. Like that would just be an easy trend to recognize. But I feel like that might not be the trend just because we've gotten so far away, like, you know, like 6 or 7 years ago, if Super Bowl commercials were funny and interesting and they were well produced and all these things, and now they're just awful. And I'm talking about this because I remember there's a YouTuber who I used to like a lot, and he made sketches that were really funny. He's the Malk guy. Well, what's his name? I made this for you guy. I can't remember.
I don't know.
But he was very popular, and his videos like were very funny and interesting and well produced and all those sorts of things. And then he disappeared forever. I don't know. He just stopped doing YouTube, and then he came back, and I guess he did some commercials. And he's like, "Oh, here are these commercials I made." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So this guy who was very good at being funny and interesting made commercials. So maybe companies are recognizing that maybe this is a good direction to go to. And then I watched this commercial that he made, and it wasn't funny, it wasn't interesting, and it was just like every other commercial. And it was just like, what happened? What is it really that? Are they really that strict on making their commercials terrible? I don't understand.
Well, it's going in both directions, right? Because the YouTubers want to appeal to the corporations by doing what they think is safe for the corporation. So they all meet in the bland middle, I think.
I guess, but it's just like, I know I've seen commercials before that are good, and I like the commercials, and I was interested in the product, and the advertising worked. But now every single commercial is just the most either trying way too hard to be funny or just being totally uninteresting and generic, and it's like, I'm not going to do anything about this.
In the Super Bowl, it's like politics, right? You want to be close to center so that you get the most people. So that's probably why they've like scaled it back a bit. But I think also like whoever is getting Super Bowl spots has just stopped giving a shit, because I remember 2 years ago you remember the old Cash for Gold commercials?
Yes.
Okay, so there was this company, Cash for Gold, where you bring in your gold, they give you money, and it was like a huge ripoff. And they would play these commercials, these really awful, like it looks like they made them on like a VHS camcorder.
It's like local access quality. I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. And they would air them at like 2 a.m, and it was like whatever. I remember at the Super Bowl 2 years ago, they played, I think, 2 Cash for Gold commercials, and they didn't even make a new commercial. It was the same fucking shitty quality, camcorder quality commercial at the Super Bowl, and it was just like, wow. Firstly, there's like 2 things that you learn from that. One, that Cash for Gold must have made a lot of money off of their fucking commercials to be able to afford a Super Bowl spot. And then 2, whoever has the power over controlling who gets the Super Bowl ads gives no shits about commercial quality. They care only about how much the company can pay. So
yeah, I mean, isn't it just a bidding war?
Yeah, I mean it is, but you would think that they would care about, because there is a really significant community of people who only watch the Super Bowl for the commercials, because Super Bowl commercials for the most part over the years have been pretty good, because they're usually unique.
Great.
They show up. They're funny usually. They're the first time you'll ever see them, and they're some of them made specifically for the Super Bowl, and it's it's a fun time.
You really don't get enough self-awareness that like you're really worked up to watch commercials, because I think that's such bullshit.
No, I mean I watch the Super Bowl for the football,
I watch
right?
it as well, but
a lot of people don't. Most people, I feel like
it's just weird
don't.
to me that they almost seem intentionally bad now. The commercials, like they just seem like there's no effort.
At this Super Bowl, remember the Nationwide commercial that was hilariously sad?
Oh yeah, the Nationwide, your kid just died.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, holy shit, guys! Like, I think that was like after the halftime show too, and
it was so weird because it was like, I get what you were trying to do, but you are a life insurance company.
You know how that meeting went down, right? That was them going, so ultimately we want to leave a lasting emotional impact on the people watching and then cause publicity. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad, just the fact that they remember us, and then there's controversy, so that's all the synergy they want rolled into one. That was how that marketing strategy went.
Succeeded then. It was just so stupid.
It was hilarious.
Companies don't care if they're stupid as long as they make money.
I guess.
Integrity doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
But I just remember, like, a good mark is the Doritos commercials. Like, Doritos commercials are now like completely outsourced. Like, it's a competition now. Like,
they make them in India.
No. I mean, like, the thing with Doritos commercials now is that people make Doritos commercials online and submit them, and the winners get played. Doritos doesn't even fucking make these commercials. It's made by people, and then they win, and I think they get some money or something.
They're so down to earth. They care about their fans
But
playing their commercials.
The
What an
first
honor.
year, this was like 4
It's
or
like
5 years
Nintendo
ago.
and YouTube.
4 or 5 years ago, they did this the first time. They did this, fans make the commercials, and the commercials were really good. They were really funny, and the ones that should have won did win, and it was a success. But I remember the very next year, the quality fucking plummeted. They were awful. It was just like, I don't know what happened, and ever since it's been the same way.
I'm surprised they've stuck with like let the community decide on something, because remember a couple of years ago when Doritos was doing like, hey, we got to make a new flavor for Doritos, and we want the community to vote on a flavor that they want. And
didn't like Hot Cum win or something?
No, 4chan got a hold of it, and they upvoted the number 1 thing, which was the new Doritos flavor. Hitler did nothing wrong. was the Doritos flavor. And they obviously they canceled the whole thing, right? Because the number 1 thing was
Dude,
Hitler
can you
did
imagine
nothing
if
wrong.
they had to vote versus Hitler did nothing wrong versus Hot Cum? Like, which one? Which one should win in that situation? That would be a Mountain Dew flavor anyway.
I would want to see what Hitler did nothing wrong would taste like, to be honest.
I don't.
Yeah, seriously.
Not
Well, I
super
don't want to make
enthused.
jokes about what that would taste like, because that would go into like a realm of jokes that are really
Yeah,
distasteful.
clearly. I feel awful enough laughing at those words, even though it was for a different reason.
Yeah, it's still pretty
I don't know.
funny.
I
but,
feel like we're
yeah.
to the point where I don't think people necessarily will get offended by
Austin,
that.
we're a valid news source, and
Yeah.
I take this seriously. And I don't
Yeah.
want to sully our good name, because I know integrity is dead in the world of Super Bowl commercials, but it doesn't have to be dead here, too.
All right. I understand that.
Integrity is dead in the world of Super Bowl commercials. It's so sad.
I mean, I
wonder
could
what the
probably
ratings
go
were
another
for that
step
Super
up
Bowl.
and say it's just dead in the world of marketing.
That Super
Probably
Bowl
is.
sucked ass, though.
It
was actually really good, but it was also really fucking awful because of the ending.
I don't watch football.
That's
Yeah.
it's a good thing.
It was better than the year before, because the year before, what was it, like 47-3?
I liked that one better.
Yeah, that one was
40
awful.
something to 7, I think.
Yeah, it was real bad. It was a bad time.
How did-
The halftime
did it
show,
happen?
that was fantastic.
Oh, that fucking left shark is best shark.
How do they not weed out all the teams? Like, how do you end up with a team that's so mismatched against another team when they had to fight all those other teams first?
They weren't mismatched. This is the funny thing. Like they
Yeah.
were,
Why did
that
they were
happen?
the two
It
top
just
seeds.
got out of hand.
It
just
was
got
just
way
one of
out
those
hand.
games. Like it was. If you want to go back and watch why this game went bad, like I think it was the first play or the second play.
Yeah.
The ball was snapped high, and you can see Peyton Manning's face as the ball whizzes by his head in slow motion, and it's just the most oh shit face in the world. And then that goes back, I think that was the safety, right? And then it was all downhill from there.
Yeah, it was just downhill the whole time.
Was their morale just broken? Like, they just
Yes.
couldn't keep up?
yeah.
You go out and watch like the
The
documentary.
first play was a safety. Like, it was.
I don't know what that means.
It's
so-
something that's a very rare play that happens in football.
Yeah.
Um,
Where the enemy team scores 2 points on you due to like
you getting tackled in your own
There's
end zone.
safety in numbers where there are a lot of numbers involved.
There were only 2 numbers, is the 2 points
Oh.
that Seattle got off
6
of
and
it,
9.
So.
Oh.
Right, yeah. So, but no, it's yeah. I mean, football, like I think like loads of sports. I don't know if every sport is, but football, like a lot of sports, is like a really big momentum game. You know, and shifting momentum definitely changes.
But don't they
how
only
things-
play for like 4 minutes out of the entire 6 hours or whatever the game lasts?
No, I mean they play for pretty much the amount of time that is on the clock. They're pretty much playing a good 50% of that.
I thought they stand still for like 90% of it, and then there's a lot of commercials and talking, and then they get back and they play for 10 seconds,
Well,
and then another commercial.
The amount of time that we see is like 3 hours on a 15-minute quarters of 45 minutes in the actual game clock, right?
Uh-huh.
So there's 45 minutes of the game clock. There's probably like 50% of that involves actual plays, maybe more than 50% of that. But then the rest of it is commercials
It's like
of the 3-hour
replays,
game that we
commentary, telling us
Yeah.
how we feel about things, eating Doritos.
It's
Left
really,
arc.
I really love football. Actually, football's really interesting because it's like an RTS game. It's like a turn-based strategy.
It's
game.
like Frozen Synapse.
Yeah, it's not. I mean,
Did they rip that game off for football?
I think they did. Yeah, I think that's where it came from.
Oh.
Yeah, in the old the swinging 1890s, they had that Frozen Synapse game
Oh,
from
they
the time.
changed the name. It's Frozen Cortex now because I said Frozen Friend Zone too many times on the internet, and they changed the name.
Frozen Friends. So.
I think that's why, like Ryan told me, that's actually why they changed it, because they got tired of people saying Frozen Friend Zone too much.
Are you serious?
I mean, that's what he said. I don't know if he was
I don't think
serious.
that's true. I think the reason that they changed it is because there is a huge circle jerk in the core gaming community of people going nowhere near sports related games because they're believed to be inherently awful. And Frozen End Zone probably makes it seem like it's a sports game, and people will just like be will be adamant about
Dude,
not playing.
Goofball Goals is really good, and that's a sports game.
Yeah, you got that. You got
That's
that going.
true.
Mega Man X Soccer is also pretty good.
Does that
Mega
exist?
Man
Or
X
sorry, Mega Man
Soccer?
Soccer, not Mega Man X.
Oh, I was
Soccer.
about to say that.
There's an entirely different game that doesn't exist, but I wish did, because then you could
Yeah.
freaking wall jump and do Hadoukens at each other.
Why don't they come out with Super Mario Strikers 2 already? That would be nice. You guys ever play Super Mario Strikers?
Is this a soccer one?
Yeah, I like the art on the cover. I never played it though.
I think I've played all the sports one. I don't know if I played that one though.
It's
I've
actually really good. I didn't
tennis,
really.
I
golf.
like tennis.
I
like
didn't
golf
really
too.
play it back in the day either, but then I went back and played it. It's really fucking good. It's like really fun.
Dude, Mario
so
Fight Night
fun.
would be so badass.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like actually modeled characters, like in Fight Night Round 3.
I want a new
Knock
Fight Night.
Luigi's fucking teeth out, break his nose, and see an X-ray scan of his head.
Fight Night
That'd be
would
hot.
be. I love Fight Night games. Fight Night games are actually really
Yeah, but
fun.
then they got all arcadey at the end, right? Didn't they do one more game after 4?
Well, no, they did the Fight Night Champion, and that
Isn't that
one.
what it was?
It wasn't. It wasn't that it was arcadey that made it.
It had
weird
gold
or-
edges for some reason, and then like everything was arcadey, I thought.
Oh, was it? I don't know, but I never really played it. But I do know that it had like a story mode where they had like this story of like this up and
Maybe
coming
Rocky?
boxer going through the ranks and stuff, and
You
he had
punch
like
meat?
he had like this old ex mafia trainer, and he was
Okay.
like training up, and his brother was also a successful fighter or something, or maybe into drugs or something. Like they basically
Oh.
made it into like a Rocky movie or like a boxing movie, and it seemed real weird and kind of poorly written, so I stayed away from it.
I think they all had some kind of a component of a campaign, but I don't think it really had like a real hard and fast story. It was just kind of
No,
like
there was
some
no-
lines of text or something.
Well, you could do your custom character, and then you could
Yeah.
rise him through the ranks, but there was no like story involved. Although I would really, really enjoy if they if they did what they did with Fight Night Champion and replaced like a specific linear story with my create a character story and stuff, where I get to like
Right.
talk to the press and like talk to my opponent in the next match and
Dude,
stuff
Mass
like that.
Effect style.
Yeah, that would be fucking cool. That would actually be really, really fun.
With
I
a
would
free
really
roam
enjoy that.
where you can wander around and beat people up in the street to gain XP.
in Madden 08, if you played the Superstar mode, you can like buy a new mansion and stuff and buy fancy cars and things.
I'm just imagining it being like a GTA mod, and you're like in your apartment all buff, and you just like rip your shirt off and put your boxing gloves, and then just punch down your door, and then just beat up everyone around your apartment.
And then it turns into like a side-scrolling beat 'em up too.
It could
And
just be,
you're-
yeah, just on certain
Final
side
fight.
streets it'll be side scrolling. Most of the time it'll be top down or like behind the head, third person.
That'd be great, like a GTA 2. You're just like running around punching people in the
Retro
street.
City Rampage
Yeah, that'd be good.
mixed with River City Rampage. River City remix. Ransom
So,
is the word I was looking for there.
River City Ransom, yeah, gotcha. Yeah. I'm trying to look at more of the comments here, and
We kind of did them all, didn't we?
Yeah, well, the ones that are actually like questions or things to talk about, but this is a good one too, actually, that I didn't mention was what's bad about Twitch Mobile? I agree, but I think their mobile app is really seriously lacking. What's weird is that their Apple OS app for mobile is better than the Android one that's available on Kindle, which is
Right.
strange because Amazon owns Twitch, so you feel like they would make a better
They
app for
didn't
that.
when they started the app, though.
Well, that's true, but you think that they maybe would update it. It's been a
I'm
while.
sure they have something down in the pipeline somewhere.
Hopefully, you can't even use the chat on my Kindle app. Like the chat is inaccessible completely,
That
inaccessible.
sucks. The Apple, the iOS app works pretty much fine.
No, I know it. I know it. You
Yeah.
have chat and everything, right? Like
You can actually you can use just chat and still watch the Twitch like on another device. So if you have your
Really?
computer and like what I do is I sit in my bed and I type in B-Rex's chat from my phone and watch the stream on my computer monitor full
I'm
screen.
glad you watched my stream, Nick. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I said B-Rex.
Yeah.
Austin. Sorry, I wasn't talking about you. I guess you heard me wrong. That's okay though.
Yeah, no, but yeah. The app,
Wow, I don't know what to say. I was like,
waiting for a laugh moment and there was none, so I just let it go.
It's just like I made a joke and then it was like, oh well, your joke doesn't matter. It's just
That was a double joke, man.
that's like a
I was
joke on
worried
top.
that it was because I don't know, man. I never know with you. Like it's
That was
impossible.
like a joke cannoli.
Is-
That's what that was. It was a
Yeah, but
joke
it
wrapped
tasted
in another
better
joke.
because the
Jagoli.
cannoli cream is like a little too
Yeah.
sweet. Hurts your
It's like
teeth.
a double joke. You don't like cannolis?
No, I just said the cream is a little too sweet. I like the pastry, but it just hurts my teeth a little.
Mmm.
Sorry.
Cannolis. Oh, cannolis.
It's
I wish I had a
staple of
cannoli
Italian
right
food.
now.
I do too. I wish I had a piece of food.
You just want to
What's
like
so
suck
sad-
the cream out of a shaft, huh?
I think the saddest thing in the world.
Cannoli talk.
The saddest. All right, because there's a lot of
more
sad.
sad than anything else in the world.
All right, so
It's-
sad puppies sadder.
A bad cannoli. It's so sad when those happen. Where like the shell is like soggy or like like malleable. Then that's bad. Or
Too
like
hard.
they go way too far sometimes when they try to add other things to the cannoli. It's like when I see places like like Oregon, like they're like, hey, we have New York style pizza. Our most selling pizza is a sauceless olive and pineapple thing. Like, you know what? Why don't you just work out how to make pizza first, and then you can go do the other wild shit. But like
They
and
can't,
that's-
Rob. You just said they were in Oregon. Like, how are they going to make New York
That's
pizza
true.
in Oregon?
But
It doesn't work.
but here's the and like cannolis too. Sometimes they go a little too crazy. Like they put in the fucking chocolate chips in the cannoli cream, or like they have like this chocolate on the bottom, or they have the powdered sugar like crusted into the thing, or like a chocolate infused shell. Like just tune it back a bit. A regular cannoli is all you need to make. Just make me a fucking cannoli that's good, and forget about the other stuff.
Holy cannoli, what
You
an
know what
idea.
they say? You can tune a guitar, but you can't tune.
You can't tune a cannoli.
You can lead a man to cannoli, but you can't make him drink.
You can't make them eat the cannoli.
Technically speaking,
You
Snakes
could
don't
make
have
him eat the
bars.
cannoli.
well, technically speaking, the way that I was using it, if I were to speak speak the language as an Italian, I would say a cannolo.
Cannolo.
Because that would, that's the singular form of cannoli, where cannoli is the plural, so it's more than one. Here's another fun fact. You guys know what pepperoni means in
Shaft of
Italian?
meat.
Is it pronounced pepperono? You motherfucker.
Well, actually, yes. One single
Damn it.
pepperoni would be a pepperono. But here's the funny thing: pepperoni doesn't mean like a sausage, like a red sausage thing. That just means peppers. So if you say pepperoni, you're just saying peppers. What technically it is a peppered sausage, but in America we just call it pepperoni.
What the hell's the
And
definition of one single pepperoni?
well, that's just basically incorrect. That's
No,
like saying
there's
one
no such
single
thing as one
oats.
pepperoni. There's the disc, which I could
Yeah.
consider, that's one, or the entire shaft of meat.
Well, the thing is, it's all wrong, right? Because you're just saying peppers in the first place. So it's all like, even if you say pepperoni or pepperono, you're
Okay.
technically wrong in what you're saying. I actually don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know. I'm not that fluent in Italian. I don't know if in Italy they use cannolo. Maybe they just use cannoli as even whether it's plural or singular. I'm not sure. But I do know that cannoli is technically plural of what should be cannolo, and the same goes for pepperoni and pepperono.
So if I was in an Italian eatery in Italy,
Yeah.
and I just want a nice pepperoni pizza, can I
Yeah.
even order that, or are they just going to laugh me out of the world?
I don't know if they have pepperoni pizza in Italy.
Of course they do. Italians made pizza, Rob.
Pepperono sounds like you're having some kind of meal and you're very unhappy that you just discovered that it has pepper on it. Pepper, oh no!
Oh no!
Pepper, oh no!
Pepperono on the rocks. It's like a Di Serono.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what it would be.
Either
And a canolo. I have one of those canolos. That'd be good.
No, low, bro.
So they really don't have pizza in Italy?
I mean, they have pizza. I don't know if I don't know if pepperoni pizza is
I bet it's
popular
thin
there.
crust, and it's like that weird artisanal olive and pineapple shit I heard about earlier that they have in
I
Oregon.
think, well, like we're used to like the New York style pizza, which is I don't think like the
It
Italians
says Italian
do, like,
style on the sign.
well, like Italians do like the margarita style, where
Yeah.
it's like the like
More acidic sauce.
yeah, like there's like a whole crushed tomato on there, and you have the splotches of just mozzarella, just straight mozzarella. Whereas Italian, like New York style, is like a 3-cheese pizza.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's like a bruschetta, but it's more pizza than. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does that even make sense?
You know how you would say multiple bruschetta?
Bruschetto.
Bruschette.
God damn it, Rob.
The fuck up! Oh my god.
Feminine is
Bruschetta kills.
and a, where masculine is o and e. So.
What about neutered?
I don't know what that means.
How do you cut the balls off of those words?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. There just isn't. There's no.
There's no neuter?
There's just a feminine and masculine.
I think every language I've heard of has masculine, feminine, neuter.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Sorry,
Could
anyone
be.
that actually speaks Italian out there.
I could be just spouting bullshit right now.
We're just
I don't know.
ignorant.
I mean, I know the basic Italian, a basic understanding of Italian that I have. I understand the difference between the singular and plural, but like I said, in Italy, perhaps it's just colloquial and they just say cannoli, whether it's singular or plural. But see, we say cannolis, right? Like if there's more than one cannoli, we're gonna say I'm gonna get some cannolis, right? Which technically is you're like double pluralizing. So it would be weird if in Italy they called it cannoli, whether it's singular or plural, because it would be confusing in Italian.
You're acting like we have any respect for the origin of the word. We've Americanized it by calling it a cannoli. So at that point, it is no longer any semblance of reality to Italian anymore. It's just now this is the American English version of cannoli. So now adding a pluralization to that doesn't matter what it means in another language. This is just our version now.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
That is actually the way it works.
No, you're completely right. And actually, we're at an hour and a half on this Magic episode. So,
I'd recommend then, if we're going to wrap up, that you guys should leave more comments telling us how right or wrong we are about all the things we said. And also giving us other topics that you might want to hear us talk about if you have anything going on in your life or in the game industry, or there's something controversial you realize you want to hear us about.
Hey, comment section. How you doing?
Yeah.
How you doing?
Yeah, they're doing well.
You having a good day? You having a good time? It's good. Tell us about it.
I probably don't want to talk about like Italian words though for another 15 minutes, so don't do that. Sorry, not to be controversial. I don't think that's interesting very much.
Let's get some pepperonos, dude.
Oh,
Just get a couple of pepperonos, and you'll be fine.
That's a good question, Nick.
That's a really excellent question. Mondays and Fridays, new episodes of Magic the Gathering.
I love you.
Bye, everybody.